Thanks for clicking on the video. I'm Mike, the driver. Today we're taking a look at a Tesla Model Y. This is the small SUV of the Tesla lineup. Now, I've never driven a Tesla before, so I'm really interested to see what the Tesla hype is all about and to see what it's like to have an electric vehicle as a daily driver. All right, let's check it out. So the Model Y shares a platform with the Model 3 and therefore shares design cues with it as well. This car is basically an inflated Model 3, which isn't a bad thing. Starting up front, you can see we've got the same headlight and front bumper design as the Model 3. And this front bumper has a clever visual trick in it where you've got this slight change of contour on the front bumper here, which gives you like a little point up front, but also with that change of shape, it casts a shadow in this location here, which I feel tricks the mind into seeing something like a grille that you would on an internal combustion engine. Because otherwise you just have this plain blank area up front. And it really lets me know that the designers at Tesla are really thinking like, how do we, inject something in there that makes our cars look a little more normal compared to an internal combustion engine where they'd have a front grille to let air in. And then we also have the front trunk, or frunk as they call it, up here. It's a pretty decent amount of space as well. As we move along to the side here, we've got 20-inch wheels on this vehicle, which doesn't really impact the ride much at all. The turning radius is affected by it, but these are all black. It's not my favorite look with the black on the white like this, that color contrast, but it doesn't look terrible, just not the color choice I would have selected. We've got our body colored mirror caps. We've got door handles that are the same type as the Model 3, which are a little less dramatic than the Model S and the Model X, where they come out as you approach the vehicle. But these work, they get you in the car. And then also on the side, we can see our cameras that are that Autopilot uses to drive the car. So looking at the back of the Model Y, again, it's inflated Model 3, so we've got the same taillights, everything like that. You've got your nice marker for a dual motor on here. And then, the nice thing about Tesla, since you don't have exhaust from an internal combustion engine, it's really smooth on the bottom. And so you get this nice diffuser at the back. It looks pretty nice, in my opinion. And then also up here, we've got our charging port. Just hit that right there, and then you can charge in right there, which you can also open from the center console as well. And then you just tap it, and it'll close back. And this has a glass roof, so that glass roof extends all the way back. It's a pretty interesting looking design. I've never driven a car like this before. And then we've got access to our trunk here. It's a motorized opening, and we just have tons of space back here. Okay, so looking in the trunk space area, there's tons of room back here. There's a nice little security shelf back here, a little storage area where you can just store all your stuff. Just put it down there, and it's hidden. It's away. Your charging cable and things are also in this location, but it's a great spot if you have some valuables with you, your computer or whatever. In this case, camera gear. And then you park the car, you put it there. If anyone looks through your windows or whatever, they're not going to see it because it's hidden down here. And then you can also lay down your seats as well with the buttons back here. Just pull it and they'll go forward. And then that lays flat, and you can have pretty much almost twice as much space in here to get big items in. So I really feel that as far as utility wise, the Model Y is a great value. All right, sitting inside the Model Y, it's a much better place to be in than I was expecting. Looking at pictures of this interior, I really thought it was like going to be pretty Spartan and not a decent place to be in. But I got to say, Tesla did a really good job. Granted, the only information you're going to get on the vehicle is in this center console here. There are no other displays in the car. And depending on the kind of person you are, maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. For me, I'm not a huge fan, but my biggest concern was the speedometer and things like that. But your speed appears right here in the console in the upper left area. It's not bad. I noticed that I quickly adjusted to it being right there and not seeing it here. Your materials inside are really nice. You've got soft touch on your door, soft touch on the top of the dash. All the basic touch points are going to be soft. You do have some plastics down on the bottom, but that's to be expected. I will say the plastics here are of a good grade. They're not like the scratchy ones you'll see on like maybe a Ford or even Kia or something like that, or Toyota. But it's plastics nonetheless. You also have some suede Alcantara type material. The door pockets. You've got this piano black here for your window controls and then your door switch. I'm never going to be a fan of piano black just because it shows fingerprints pretty readily, and that's never good. Up on the dash, you have this long vent that goes across, but it's pretty cool because inside the console here, you can actually move the air wherever you want it to flow. I don't know how they do it, but I'm quite impressed by how effective it works. And we've got some fake wood, I think, or maybe it's real wood. I don't know. I can't tell. I think I'm going to say it's fake just because it doesn't seem sealed. And I would say over time that if that was real wood, that's just going to soak in moisture and other things just from, the environment, from humidity. In front of you, you've got this nice, actually quite small but chunky steering wheel. And it's got, 2 robot buttons on it, which is where you control most things from volume to controlling your side mirrors. You can even control the steering wheel, whether it's, all your adjustments are going to be, handled here. To the left of the steering wheel, the left stalk, is your turn signal stalk, like normal. And you've got a button here to control your windshield wipers as well. I had an issue earlier where I had to pull over to figure out the windshield wiper because I didn't realize that you just push the button in here and then it'll pop up on here, your controls. So that really threw me for a loop when I first got in the car. On the right hand side, we've got our turn signal stalk. Not turn signal stalk. We have the drive selector, and up for reverse, down for drive. Then once you're in drive, if you want to select your cruise control, you hit down once again. And then if you want to do autopilot, you select down twice. Moving to the center stack, we've got a spot for not 1, but 2 wireless charging pads. And you've got a position here, you move it over, and then you can charge another phone in that location as well. You've got this deep well that you can hide. You also have to be really careful when closing the storage locations. They tell you not to close it hard. It's gentle. I have yet to master how gentle. And then you can also cover your phone while it's in there and have it connected up here. You got 2 cup holders. They're pretty decent size. I had my Starbucks drink in it earlier and it was a little wiggly, but it didn't spill over or anything like that. In the armrest here, you've got a nice little tray where you can store stuff that you want to take out and get quick access to. And under that, it goes pretty deep, and it kind of swoops down to just a little bit under here. You also have a 12-volt accessory spot as well. Moving on to the seats. The seats are quite comfortable. I don't know if this is fake leather or real leather, but it's very soft and supple. I like it. The bolstering on the seats is pretty good. and they're fully electric, so there's tons of adjustability there. And inside the console, you can even control whether on your seat heaters. Unfortunately, no seat cooling, and I don't know if that comes on a higher trim model or not, but I'm more of a fan of cooling than heating. I don't like heated seats, doesn't feel right to me, but that's me. All right, let's go look at the back. All right, so sitting in the back of the Model Y, it's a pretty good space, lots of headroom. I think we've got more headroom than we would if we were in the Model 3, just because, we've got this hatchback and this glass roof here. I haven't adjusted the seat from how I've had it for myself, and I've got plenty of knee room back here. The seats are pretty comfortable. It's the same material as before. It's a little flatter though, so I don't know if I would like this for long distance. Plenty of leg room as well, and foot room, which I need. I have giant feet. You've got two USB-C plugins right here, and then pretty basic HVAC controls. No temperature controls, just, you can kind of change the direction if it's blowing at your crotch or your knee, I guess. I don't know. I think on hot days, this panoramic roof is going to be a bit problematic. I wonder if the HVAC system can keep up with it. Additionally, for the back seat, you can actually recline. So there's a little handle back here. Just push that, you can recline back. It's pretty nice. And if you need to put the seat down, you can use the same handle to pull the seat forward. Overall, I think this is a decent space. It kind of goes along with the Tesla ethos of, less is more. So I think in that regard, it's pretty nice. All right, so once you're inside driving the Model Y, it's like any other SUV of this size. Visibility is really good. You kind of feel like you have a 360 view out of this thing with the glass roof. And you've got big windows as well at all the doors, but there are some caveats to that. The view out of the rear, it's pretty small. It actually reminds me of the Kia Stinger. Maybe a little better than the Stinger, but just given the profile of the vehicle, you get that narrow kind of, there's a lot of glass back there, but it's angled, so your actual field of view out of that's pretty small. And you've got kind of big A-pillars here. I find that in some corners I'm looking around it, but overall it's not a big problem. And the screen that you have down here, that will depict any cars, people, obstacles anywhere around the vehicle at any given time. So I think with that and the issues that I'm mentioning aren't something that's really gonna be deal killers, I think, for most people. Okay, so let's talk about the performance of this car. It's a Tesla, so people know it's going to be fast. Like, that's Tesla's brand. We've all seen the YouTube videos of people being surprised by the instant acceleration of the Tesla. What I was surprised about and what I didn't consider, when thinking about this vehicle, was the fact that, if I'm on the highway and I want to get over for whatever reason, I need to, accelerate just to get out of someone's way, or because I'm about to miss my exit. In a gasoline car, you put your foot down, transmission's going to downshift, revs go up on the engine, and then you start accelerating. In this, you don't have that. So the amount of time between hitting the accelerator and that acceleration, it's instant. And that really has changed up the way that I kind of drive, to where, I'm not thinking like, oh, okay, I gotta, hit that, and like, well, the revs go up, and then you make the move. It's now just like, all right, I'm going there, and you do it. And maybe that's not the best example or explanation of this scenario, but I personally do enjoy just that instant hit. Like, you're at speed, you need to speed up, you're there. So aside from how fast the car can go and how quickly it changes speed, the daily drivability of the Model Y is really good. I drive this car around, and it's just like I'm driving any other car. I'm not thinking about like, oh, I have an electric car, so I have to drive it a certain way. I'm also not concerned about so-called range anxiety. This being the long-range model, and even the regular model gets over 200 miles on a charge. I believe it gets 230 or 250 miles per charge. And yeah, if you're going on a trip or something like that, a road trip, a few hours away, you're going to need to kind of plan out, where your stops are. But the GPS system in the Tesla, it'll tell you, it'll plot you to charging locations. So you're never going to run out. And just around town, I've never had to worry about it. And there are so many stores or malls, even though I know we're not going to malls right now in COVID times, or supercharger stations, where if you do need to charge when you're out, you can easily find a place. And if I'm just driving to and from work, or to pick up the kids from daycare and work or whatever, you go home, you plug the car in, and you charge it up overnight, and you're probably back to where you started the previous day. I think we're at a point now where electric vehicles, especially one like this, can replace the internal combustion engine pretty easily. Yeah, like if you drain the battery completely, you're going to need probably half an hour, 40 minutes to charge it up at something like a supercharger station. But if you plan ahead, and I think anyone who buys a vehicle like this is not going to drive it like they drive a gasoline powered car, and the fact that they're not just going to like, oh, battery's empty, now I need to go charge it up. I think those people will take that little caveat into mind and say, okay, I've got half a charge, maybe I'll go by the supercharger station when I'm at the grocery store, or maybe I'm at this place and I'll plug into their charging station. Or you'll just, every night when you get home, you just plug in your car. It's like plugging in your phone or any other electric device. All right, my final thoughts on the Tesla Model Y. This vehicle really exceeded my expectations. I was expecting there to be some kind of weird electric vehicle quirks. Maybe it accelerated wonky, or the brakes were a little weird in their application. But everything just kind of works. The integration of autopilot. Aside from the center console, this tablet that I'm not a fan of having every single function in it. I'd love to have a gauge cluster, maybe some more buttons on the steering wheel, something, like my other vehicles. But, as far as like being a vehicle, it's completely normal. I really enjoy driving it. And, I think that if you can afford a Tesla and you're thinking about it, go get one. You're not going to be disappointed. Now, we all know about the Tesla quality problems. And that's because I think they're still more of a technology company than an auto manufacturer, even though they build millions of vehicles. Tesla will use 3 components to build a part, whereas Ford or any other major manufacturer would use 1, right? So they still have some ways to go there, but they are making great strides in what they have. And, I've really enjoyed this car, and who knows, maybe in a couple years, I'll see what used Model Y prices are going for, and might end up driving one. But yeah, I truly enjoyed the vehicle, and I think at the very least, head out to a Tesla dealership and check them out. All right, thanks for watching the video. Like and subscribe if you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.